All right, and welcome back to another episode of Fantasy Football with Gumbo. My name's Ja, and today we are talking about some rookies. We're talking about some rookies, man. I want to go ahead and dive into some rookies, some players who, are coming into the league. I have not covered as much as I've wanted to this year, but in the previous years, we've had a little bit of success. You feel me? Rashee Rice was a guy who we really believed in. Boomed. Argued that Garrett Wilson should have been the second overall player taken a few years back. That was the same draft class with Drake London, Traylon Burks, all those guys. So far so good. Garrett Wilson finished last year as a top 11 receiver, so I'm not mad at it. This year, I want to go ahead and identify a couple guys who I think are flying under the radar. So these are players that I'm actually going to draft in a mock draft here, but, to kind of give you all some context, I want you to see what I'm working with as far as a dynasty team, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do a mock draft to fill out my dynasty needs and, stick with me here. So my quarterback right now is a mix between Bo Nix, Tua, and Bryce Young. So, you think Nix is going to be all right next year. You hope Tua can recover, stay healthy. I think I got a low-end QB1. For reference, this is a 10-team, one quarterback, half PPR league. So, I think Nix is an all right, high floor quarterback to have for my team. Devon Achane, star of the squad, RB1 potential in the year. Jordan Mason only got in here because I'm kind of short on running backs. Garrett Wilson, we just talked about him. Ayuk's injured. My team is cooked. My team sucks. I made a lot of aggressive trades to get into the playoffs the last few years, right at the buzzer, and now I'm kind of paying for it. So on my bench, I got guys like Braylon Allen, young. Marshawn Lloyd, young. Keaton Mitchell, young. Cedric Tillman, kind of had he had a good 2-3 weeks there. Adonai Mitchell, we'll see what happens with him. Nick Westbrook, he's a touchdown machine. Calvin Austin is an up-and-coming wide receiver. These tight ends aren't great. As you see down here, I got a first-round pick this year. I got a 2-1, a 2-6, a 3-9, a 3-5, a 4-5, and a 5-5. So let's go ahead and see how we can improve this trash-ass team in the 2025 rookie draft. So let's go ahead and hit this mock draft. And let me know what you guys think down below in my comment section. Let me know what you guys think of my decisions here because I'm sure they will be a little questionable. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to go ahead and pull this up in another window. What I want to kind of do is bounce between tabs and show y'all, what my team looks like and also, what's available, right? So I want you guys to be able to kind of keep up with me. I don't expect you to remember, every player on my team, but I want to have some point of reference. So, I'll bounce between these two screens here. So if we go ahead and we start the draft, my first pick is at the 1-5. And, let's see who goes when. Go ahead and pull this bitch up. All right, and let's go. Okay, that makes sense. So at the 1-1, we got Ashton Genty off the board. At the 1-2, Tet McMillan goes off the board. At the 1-3, Omarion Hampton goes off the board. And at the 1-4, Travion Henderson is off the board. Our top options right now are Tyler Warren, Luther Burden, Emeka Ibuka, Quinshon Judkins, Cam Ward. Tyler Warren, Luther Burden, Emeka Ibuka, Quinshon Judkins, and Cam Ward. Well, if you guys look at my team, the one position where I feel kind of strong at is quarterback. So I got Bo Nix, I got Tua, and I got Bryce Young down here. At running back, I'm kind of soft. Not in the greatest spot. Devon Achane is my RB1, and outside of that, I don't got nothing that's going to be reliable every week. So I got Jordan Mason at running back. I got Braylon Allen, Marshawn Lloyd, Keaton Mitchell. A lot of hit and miss guys. And at receiver, it's kind of more of the same, right? Like Garrett Wilson, he's going to be a lock every single week in my lineups. But Brandon Ayuk, he's recovering from an injury. We'll see how that goes. You can't rely on Tillman, who went out with an injury. Adonai Mitchell still catching passes. I don't know if it'll be from Daniel Jones or from Anthony Richardson, but it's not a great quarterback room. And Calvin Austin's getting shaken up this year. New quarterback there. It might be Mason Rudolph. Nick Westbrook, Akeem, he was kind of like a touchdown merchant last year. I don't have a lot of options, man. I need some help in my receiver and my running back room. So my options once again in receiver and running back, even though I do need a tight end, Tyler Warren's here. I don't know, man. I feel like wide receiver gives you a lot more points, and it's a much more important position. In my personal opinion, I think Luther Burden is a little overrated. The reason I say that is because of all of like the first round projected receivers. So we're talking Travis Hunter, Ted McMillan, Luther Burden, Emeka Ibuka, Matthew Golden in some leagues. Luther kind of seems, in my opinion, to have the lowest floor, right? So he fell off a cliff last year in college. Stats didn't look anywhere near what they did in 2023. 2023 was kind of like his breakout year. When you watch Luther Burden, one thing that kind of, I guess it kind of, it's hard to, I don't know how to put this. It's almost like hard to trust him off the line of scrimmage. He has really weird feet. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe we could watch a video together on this. Luther Burden's got really weird feet, and it looks like he'd be really easy to jam up on the line. So outside of that, they call him like Deebo Samuel 2.0, right? Like that's been his comp this year. I don't know if he's gonna have the ceiling of Deebo Samuel at all. I think that he could probably, be a pretty useful wide receiver 2 on a team. But when you watch his film, and like, let's do it together, right? So bomb down the field, boom. Okay, got held right there. Dart, catches it. A little shimmy. Okay. Better catch that. No. Not like a lot of agility. Like he doesn't have he doesn't have sweet feet. He ain't got the sweet feet. So like he kind of just shimmies a lot. Like in and out of his routes. He doesn't drop his hips. Like if you watch his film, he doesn't, like he never drops his hips and like gives you like a really dangerous cut. He takes what's there, which is cool. But if you're drafting at the 1-5, you want somebody who's going to be more so like a playmaker, right? He's a cool receiver. Like physically he reminds me of Jordan Addison a little bit, but he's not as good of a route runner as Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison can cut on a dime. He can accelerate out of cuts. You see his touchdown potential the last 2 years. He's been going crazy with, the end zone catches. I think Jordan Addison is in a completely different tier than this guy. Luther Burden at his peak is probably, he'd be around what Devontae Smith is, maybe Chris Godwin is most years, right? Where he's like a mid-range, wide receiver 3, low-end wide receiver 2 type shit. Like, he's a cool receiver. I don't know if he's a first-round fantasy football talent. This is a guy who I feel like should maybe be going like in the second round. But I don't want to spend a 1-5 on that, right? So with my roster, I need to go ahead and get somebody who can give me some upside. And when I'm looking at upside, I'm looking at someone, who I can rely on, who's going to get a lot of volume, and who has great hands, right? I think I can do that with Emeka Ibuka. Quinshon Judkins, slower, bruiser running back, reminds you of like David Montgomery in Detroit. Cam Ward, I don't really need a quarterback that, that seriously. And Tyler Warren, while he's a really, really, really good player, a really, really good tight end is going to get you 13 to 15 points a game. A really, really good wide receiver is going to get you 20 plus a game. I think Emeka Ibuka has that talent, and I'm going to go ahead and give Garrett Wilson some support. So, my team right now is looking like Garrett Wilson, Emeka Ibuka, and Brandon Ayuk at the wide receiver position. At the 1-6, they went ahead and took Tyler Warren. At the 1-7, they took Luther Burden. At the 1-8, they took Quinshon Judkins. The 1-9, they took Cam Ward, and at the 1-10, they took Caleb Johnson off the board. Caleb's kind of a sleeper for me. There's been a lot of people hating on Caleb Johnson. I think this dude's going to be a star. I think he's the closest thing we're going to see to Derrick Henry. And I think that he is going to he's going to have a lot to offer, right? He's a big back, but he's fast enough to get downfield and run in a zone offense. If you guys don't know zone offenses, you need to have some level of speed in order to work in them, right? Like you need to hit a hole quick, get up the field, and you have to be a quick decision maker, quick on your feet, and you have to have a little bit of speed to you, right? A lot of zone running backs are guys like Alvin Kamara, Devon Achane, Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, and that kind of echelon of running back. Caleb's going to be a star. He's definitely worth a first round pick, and I think at the 110 he's even kind of a steal. If I was being honest, I might take Caleb Johnson over Quinshon Judkins. And if it really came down to me deciding about Emeka Egbuka versus Caleb Johnson, I think I probably would have gone with Emeka. I still would have gone with Emeka, but Caleb, he has some upside, and I think he's going to be one of those running backs that's around for a long time. All right, so back to my team. At the 2-1, we are back up on the board. They let Travis Hunter fall. I'm not going to lie to you, that's a layup. I love Travis Hunter's film as a receiver. I think Travis Hunter is going to play a lot more receiver than we are expecting. And truth be told, anytime there's a really talented player that comes into the NFL and they do something that's different, whether it be they talk different, they walk different, they play different, the first thing we always get from the media is just like pessimism, right? Like they're never open-minded to the idea of this guy maybe not only being good, but doing things differently than the Travis Hunter Tiny of the NFL. He's probably going to win an MVP one of the years. And I'm telling you, there's worse things you can draft at the 2-1 than an MVP player. Because of his ability to play on both sides, similar to the Heisman, he's going to get a lot more recognition, a lot more star power. They're going to incorporate him in the offense. And when you watch this film of him, man, like he reminds me of Odell. He works the inside of the field really well. He has really strong hands. I think his route running still needs some work. You can tell he's not a natural receiver. Like similar to Luther Burden, he doesn't really drop his hips as much as you'd like. He doesn't make his cuts as sharply as you like. But because they have special packages for him, you can kind of scheme him open, get the ball in his hands, and let him be a playmaker. I like Travis Hunter at the 2-1 here. I think that's a really, really, really good pick. And Travis Hunter, to me, is going to be an MVP at some point. His best comp, in my opinion, is going to be like prime Odell Beckham Jr., right? Like prime Odell Beckham kind of reminds me of, what Travis did in Colorado. And I think even like his floor as a receiver to me is probably Josh Gordon. I think it's Josh Gordon, right? Like good size, good speed, makes freakish plays, big plays, household name when he plays. And they even kind of like run routes the same. They run routes very upright. So that's kind of my ceiling and my floor for Travis, and I'll gladly take either or. A couple years ago in the same league that we are drafting in, they took Justin Jefferson at the 2-1, and the guy who took Justin Jefferson ended up getting a Shiva. So that tells you the value that you can get at the top of the second round, especially in a 10-team league. And I think Travis Hunter is going to go ahead and provide some value. So I'm taking Travis at the 2-1. Some of my other options at the 2-1 are going to be guys like Colston Loveland, which I do need a tight end, but I'm going to take a generational receiver over a tight end. Other options were Trey Harris. I like Trey, but I'd probably want to take him a little later. Matthew Golden is where it gets tricky because Matthew Golden's going to play. Damn, that's actually hard. Matthew Golden's really good. He actually might be my favorite all-around wide receiver this year. 4.29 40, 3-level receiver, played for a big school in Texas, catches with his hands, doesn't make a lot of drops, makes a ton of contested catches, gets downfield, might get more snaps than Travis Hunter. Fuck. I'm going to go with Travis. I'm shooting for upside here. I think Matthew Golden has the better floor than Travis Hunter. But if Travis Hunter works, that's an MVP, man. Like, I don't think Matthew Golden at the end of his career is going to have far better or much better accolades or stats than Travis Hunter. So we moved on with the draft. We took Trav. At the 2-2, we saw Colston Loveland go off the board. At the 2-3.5 PPR league, we saw Trey Harris go off the board. At 2-4, Matthew Golden's off the board. 2-5 was an interesting pick. We saw, Devin Neal go off the board. Now, typically I was the 2-5, but I traded this pick to a colleague, or not a colleague, but a league mate. Sorry, I'm still in work mode. But, hey, in this mock draft, he went ahead and took Devin Neal off my hands. Thank you. This is a really easy pick for me at the 2-6. So I have 1 first-round pick. I have 2 second-round picks. And at the 2-6, what's available to me is Isaiah Bond, Shadur Sanders, Ollie Gordon, Jalen Noel, Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson is probably who I need to take here at this pick. I got 2 wide receivers. If you guys can't see, this is a really good start, right? Like Emeka Egbuka, Travis Hunter is crazy. Travis Hunter at the 2-1. That's a really strong wide receiver duo. I think that is really going to help my team. I think that's really going to provide some stability at the wide receiver position. And both those guys, I think, have really high upsides. Emeka has a really high floor. So I could see Emeka, Travis Hunter, and Garrett Wilson being a young, strong wide receiver core for my team moving forward. And, yeah, you know what? I'm going to roll with it. So at the 2-6, I'm going to get a running back. I like Dylan Sampson a lot. Dylan Sampson came in at 5'11", 201 pounds, comes out of Tennessee. He's probably the closest thing we have to Devon Achane in this draft. Not too far off in terms of like speed and size. I think Devon's like 190 something, right? Sampson came in at 201, so not too far off. Devon Achane, he's so fucking good, and maybe I'm just spoiled because I got him on my team. But he's so damn good that a good Devon Achane game is going to win you your week. Dylan Sampson kind of has some of that upside as well, right? He kind of has like that home run game-breaking ability that can go ahead and win you matchups. Is he going to come in and immediately be a starter? I don't think so. I think he's going to come in and probably be a complimentary back, maybe to like a bruiser. So maybe he goes to like Baltimore, helps out Derrick Henry, right? Or maybe he goes to the Eagles and helps out Saquon. This dude has some jets. He ran a really, really fast 40 at the combine. And what was his 40 number, actually? I want to say Dylan Sampson ran a 4.2. Oh, no, he ran a 4.42, which is actually kind of low compared to what I've seen on tape. I still stand by what I said. I think he's speedy. I think he's shifty. I think that outside of Ashton Genty, there's not a lot of explosive backs. It's a lot of bruiser backs, right? Travion Henderson is he's about as explosive, like similar 40 times, low 4.4s. I think Sampson's a little lower to the ground, which helps him. If I could take Travion at the 2.6, I would. But here, I'm gonna go ahead and help out my running back squad. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Dylan Sampson at the 2.6, and I'm happy rocking out with that. I'm happy with that pick. So far we have Emeka Egbuka, Travis Hunter, and Dylan Sampson, and we used the 1.5 to take Emeka, the 2.1 to take Trav, and the 2.6 to take Dylan. At the 2.7, we saw Shadur Sanders go off the board. 2.8, Isaiah Bond. 2.9, Ollie Gordon. 2.10 is Jalen Noel. The 3-1, so 10-team league, we're on the wraparound. We got Elijah Arroyo going off at the 3-1. He's really good, and I was hoping he would fall to me. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that happened. Trevor Etienne at 3-2. Jalen Milroe, who's going to be a stud quarterback. He might be the best quarterback from this draft class, potentially, if he reaches his ceiling. I like how mobile he is. I like how strong his arm is. He had game-breaking potential the last couple of years at Alabama. Alabama last year wasn't the most, statistical dominant year. I think the guy only had like 15, 16 passing touchdowns, but, there's still room for improvement. He will need to sit for a year behind a vet, but I think year 2, he could come out guns a-blazing. I still think the New York Giants should actually I think the Giants should trade back in the first rounds and go get Jalen Milroe. I honestly believe that. Jalen Milroe is going to be a star. Harold Fannin at 3-4. Physically kind of looks like Kyle Pitts a little bit. Not overly explosive. Like, he looks like a tall wide receiver. He looks like Kelvin Benjamin, right? Like a slightly slimmer Kelvin Benjamin at the tight end position. At 3.5, I got options. I got Cam Skattebo. I got Xavier Restrepo. I got RJ Harvey. And I got Alec Ayomanor. How do I say his name? Is it Ayomanor? Alec Ayomanor. In terms of tight end options, because that is getting skim, whatever. We got Mason Taylor and Gunnar Helm here. I think here, while I think Alec is going to be an underrated receiver this draft, I like his route running ability. I like the way he breaks zones. He has really reliable hands. He's almost like what's a good comp for him? He's like Golden Tate a little bit, right? Like heavy on the Golden Tate vibes. I think getting him in the middle of the third round is actually really good value. Like, I don't know if y'all know this, but they call me the wide receiver whisperer, and that's because, I whisper to good wide receivers. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to say with that. Alec Ayomanor is a cool, wide receiver. I kind of want to go with Cam Skattebo. I do. Like Cam Skattebo, and I know I might have been guilty of that, but Cam Skattebo is like, he was so good last year. He was in Heisman contention, ton of touchdowns, like damn near 20 touchdowns, close to it. I see him as a goal line back, maybe like a really good third down back, but with Cam Skattebo, I don't know what the ceiling is. Right? Like, and I'm not saying this because he's white, but he genuinely does kind of remind me of Peyton Hillis. Right? Like, bruiser back, runs downfield, super strong, not super agile, not gonna jump over you. Right? Like, when I think of big, bulkier backs, I think of like a David Montgomery, I think of like a Derrick Henry. But even those guys are more agile, maybe even faster than Cam Skattebo. Right? Derrick Henry probably is, and I'd say David Montgomery probably is too. Skattebo is just like, he's a bruiser back, right? He's going to knock you over. He's going to run you over. And that's going to be good for like those like 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3 situations, right? Or if you're on like the goal line. But if you're 1st and 10, do you want to have Cam Skattebo on the field, like as a team? I'm being dead ass. Like Cam Skattebo, 1st and 10 in the NFL. Do you want to have this guy on the field? Right? Typically, when you look at first down backs, and outside of maybe, even like I said, Derrick Henry might be more agile than Cam Skattebo. I think at the NFL level, I don't know if I trust Cam to be like my first down back a lot. Like, he's going to get a lot of run on 3rd and 2, right? Like maybe, 2nd down and 4 yards to go. Goal line situations, right? This is tough. Cam Skattebo or Alec Ayomanor? I have no idea how to say his name. This is embarrassing. Cam Skattebo or Alec Ayomanor? Man. Like, Skattebo's good, but I don't think he has that high of a ceiling. I think he's like a 2-year impact player, and then by year 3, you're trying to get him off your team or trade him. I'm being dead ass. Like, he played, for Iowa State. He played. Man, Cam Skattebo or Al. I'm gonna go with Cam. Fuck it, I'm gonna go with Cam. I'm gonna go with Cam because here's what'll happen. If Cam has a good first year, his trade value is gonna go to the moon. Like, if Cam ends this year somehow, some way with 10 touchdowns, and he was already getting hyped coming into the year, you might be able to trade him for a 2nd round pick, right? Who knows? Maybe a 1st round pick if somebody's super thirsty for him. This year, you're getting him at the 3.5. If all works out well, he'll end up having great value next year, and you can maybe get some ROI on your 3.5. Maybe you could trade him for a 2nd and a player. Maybe you could trade him for an early second, right? So think of it as like trading up next year after he proves his value. That's what I think the best case scenario is with Cam. I don't know if Cam's going to walk into most NFL locker rooms and beat out the starting running back. Like, I don't have him in the same ballpark as Omarion Hampton. I don't have him in the same park as Travion, Ashton. Quinshon's a bruiser, but even Quinshon, like, actually, Quinshon and Cam are not that dissimilar. The thing about Quinshon, though, is that honestly, I've seen Quinshon be a workhorse back, similar to how Cam got a lot of reps last year. I've seen Quinshon be a workhorse back, but I've seen him be effective in two separate schemes, right? Ole Miss and Ohio State. He came out of his high school draft class, and he was like damn near like the number one prospect, right? He's kind of been like this prophet, right? So I guess you could say a lot of marketing has sold me on Quinshon Judkins. Comparing him to Cam Skattebo, though, like, they're not that dissimilar. Like, I'm not big on Quinshon Judkins really, like, in the early to mid first round. I think he's a late first round, early second round player for fantasy drafts. So I'm not even super, super high on Quinshon Judkins. I have him maybe in a tier of either with... I like Samson more than Judkins. I have Cam Skattebo in the same tier as maybe like Ollie Gordon, Devin Neal. I don't think Trevor Etienne's going to be that great, but Devin Neal, Ollie Gordon, guys who like do just enough, right? Like, he's going to be a guy that does just enough. If you're lucky, he gets a lot of goal line opportunity, and that's where he makes his bones in the NFL, is as a, like a goal line back, getting touchdowns all the time. He was heavily carried last year by his touchdown count. Cam, damn, bro. Do I want to rent a player for a year, or do I want to go get Alec? Fuck. That's tough. Rent Cam for a year or go get Alec. I need running back help, though. But I also need wide receiver help. You know what, man? I'm going to go with Alec. Alec is going to be a long-term investment, and when you're rebuilding your team, you got to think long-term. You can't be operating on a shoulda, woulda, coulda basis, right? Right? Maybe I could trade Cam Skattebo, right? But that's not a guarantee. I already made it pretty clear that I don't think he has the most upside. I think he'll be a cool player. He'll get opportunity. But yeah, give me Alec. I think Alec's going to be a productive receiver. He'll be a really strong wide receiver 3. If it all goes really well, maybe low end wide receiver 2. But that's going to help me in my flex spot for the next 3, 4, 5 years, because he'll be consistent. He's a good route runner, good with his hands, soft hands, right? He can get into the end zone. He has some speed to him. So that's going to serve me more in my flex the next few years, and I think that'll come in handy. Sometimes you just need a strong flex play, right? A guy you can just plug and play every week. You know what you're getting. Even if it's only 8, 9, 10 points, in certain games, that's all you need, right? Sometimes you don't want the boom or bust guy, right? Like, sometimes you don't want to be dependent on Skattebo getting a goal line touchdown, right? Sometimes you just want to know that your guy's going to get 5 catches. One of those catches might go for 15 yards. Another might go for 10. Another might go for 12. Another might go for 7. Another might go for 12, right? Okay, boom. Now you're at, maybe 55, 60 yards, 5 catches. In a half PPR league, I mean, that's 8.5 points, right? If he catches a touchdown, 14, 15 point game, which is great. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do there. At the 3-6, Restrepo went, the guy who ran like a 4.940. Sucks to suck. Looks like Dugo took him in this mock draft. Dugo, I'm sorry for your loss. Cam Skattebo ended up going 3-7. Quinn Ewers went 3-8. I have another pick now at the 3-9. My options at the top of the list are RJ Harvey. I have Mason Taylor at tight end. I have Gunnar Helm at tight end. I have Damian Martinez at running back. And I got Terrence Ferguson at tight end. I'm not going to lie to you. At this point of the game, I don't know if I want to spend premium capital on a tight end. I still count the 3-9 as a valuable pick. I think you can make some noise here. I kind of want to still shoot for upside. Like Mason Taylor, I don't think he's going to be a lot of upside there. Like, he's a cool tight end. He's nothing special. He's not overly speedy. He's not the best hands. RJ Harvey is 24 years old, which also scares me. Like, dog, he's 24. He's been in college for a really long time. That always scares me when a guy can't break out at running back in college. Like, if you're good at running back, you should be able to break out in college. That's tough. Damian Martinez is here. Damian's another, like, boomer bust guy. Like, some people like Damian because of the size, right? They think that maybe, at 5'11", 226, he can go out and, just be a fucking bowling ball, like, downhill. He had 1,000 yards last season, which is great. Only 32 catches on his body. Only 32 catches in his college career. You know what? I'm going to go for a sleeper. A couple guys that are also available are, and this is a mock draft, so you know how mock drafts are. They ain't always accurate. But Jalen Royals is available. Tez Johnson's available. Jaden Higgins available. Jack Beck is available. DJ Giddens is available. But my sleeper of the draft is still available. He's going way later, but I might go ahead and grab him now. Bayshaw Tuden. I did an episode on Bayshaw Tuden. If you guys want to go, kind of look back in the catalog. I did an episode on Bayshaw Tuden about a month ago. Bayshaw at 5'11", 209 has the size and physical ability that reminds me of a lot of transcendent fantasy football running backs. I'm talking about guys like Aaron Jones. I'm talking about guys like Jahmyr Gibbs. Bayshaw Tuden ran one of the fastest 40s, right, in the running back class. He showed out at his combine during the drills. If you want to picture Bayshaw Tuden, imagine, like a slightly taller, and I hate to say this name for a second time this episode, imagine a slightly taller Devon Achane. Explosive, runs well out of the backfield. He can line up in the slot as a receiver. He has great hands. He primarily works in zone offenses, which is what most of the NFL runs, meaning I think his hit rate is going to be higher than most because he fits what the NFL is looking for and what they're doing. But Bayshaw, man, he impresses me more than Jaden Blue or, Damian Martinez or Jordan James or 24-year-old RJ Harvey. I'm going Bayshaw, and I'm actually really happy with that pick. I feel safe in it. Every year you kind of get one of your, like, my guys, a guy whose tape you watch, you keep watching it, and you're like, how the fuck does no one else talk about this person? How does no one else know this guy exists, right? So right now my lineup of drafted players in this draft is, I got Dylan Sampson at running back. He's my only running back. At receiver, I got Emeka Ibuka, Travis Hunter, and Alec Ayaminer. Ayaminer is crazy. Ayomanor. I think for my fifth pick at the 3-9, I want to go ahead and take Bayshaw Tuden and bring him on the roster. So let's go ahead and do it. So we got Bayshaw Tuden filling out my second running back spot. Mason Taylor went at 310, the tight ends. We got a quarterback run here. We see Jackson Dart go off the board. Dylan Gabriel, a lot of Oregon goes off the board. We got Mr. Helm at the tight end coming off the board. Will Howard comes off the board at 4-4. In a real draft, we wouldn't see these players go. We'd probably see Jalen Royals, Jaden Higgins, all these guys out. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this realistic, right? Because you guys aren't watching for some bullshit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit these picks if it lets me. So yeah, that's a lot of quarterbacks. And what's going to happen is after I edit these picks, they're still going to go, right? So it doesn't even matter if I take them out. It's just going to allow me to have a more fair shot at drafting. So what we're going to say is that Jaden Higgins went at the 4-1. And we're going to say Damian Martinez went at the 4-2. At the 4-3, Jalen Royals. At the 4-4, Tez Johnson. And now I'm up at the 4-5, and RJ Harvey is still on the board. Fuck. Because I like RJ Harvey's skill set, but he's just old as fuck, dude. Like 24 as a rookie, bro. He damn near might be 25 by the end of the season. God damn, bro. By the time his first contract's over, he's going to be 30. He's not going to be 30. He's going to be like 27, 28. Damn, he's old. Shit. All right, so Gunnar Helm is here at tight end. I mean, damn, and he suffered an ankle injury at the combine. Gunnar Helm. Gunnar. And this is where you need Dugo. Because Dugo knows his tight ends, right? Gunnar Helm. I don't know if I want to... I mean, it's a 4th round pick, so it's not like it's, game breaking or anything. And, I mean, ideally, he could be a nice compliment. I'm going to have to go get a tight end off free agency with the way this is set up. Gunnar's... Like, he's not super special, but he catches the ball. He has good size to him. He's not afraid to catch in the middle of the field. I could see him getting, maybe 2 to 3 catches a game on an offense. He's coming in as like the tight end 2, tight end 3 maybe. I guess it's something, right? Like maybe an injury happens and he becomes like a volume type of player, like somebody you play because they're getting reps and they're getting targets. Yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. I'm going to take Gunnar Helm at the 4-5. We need to fill that tight end spot. Other options available at that time were RJ Harvey, Jordan James, Jack Beck. I need a tight end. It's the 4-5, bro. It's the 4th round pick. Let me go ahead and get my tight end. At 5-5, we still got a lot of options. So at 4-6, we saw Jackson Dart. We saw more tight ends go off the board, and Gadsden and Ferguson at 4-7 and 4-8. 4-9 is Horton. 4-10 is Gabriel. 5-1 is Will Howard. 5-2 is Riley Leonard. All these damn quarterbacks would not go. All right, let's change this up. At 5-2, we're going to say RJ Harvey went, right? He's not going undrafted. At the 5-3, we're going to say Jack Beck went off the board. And at the 5-4, we're going to go ahead and say somebody took a shot on DJ Giddens. Right? I might even say at the 4-8, someone took Jordan James. We got to make this realistic, or what's the point? All right, so I took Glenn Helm at the 4-5. 4-6 is Jackson Dart. 4-7 is Ferguson, tight ends. 4-8 is Jordan James. 4-9 is Torrey Horton. 4-10 is Dylan Gabriel. 5-1, Will Howard. 5-2, RJ Harvey. 5-3, Jack Beck. 5-4, DJ Giddens. My last and final pick at the 5-5, I have Jaden Blue, Brashard Smith, Woody Marks, Savion Williams, Aronde Gaston, Bruce McCoy, Mitchell Evans, Donovan Edwards. Yeah, we got a lot of players here. I don't know who do I want to take a shot on? Let's see. Who's down here? Savion Williams. He's interesting because I don't know if he's a receiver or a running back. He's one of those utility players like Cordero or Cordero Patterson, right? He's 6'5", 225 though. A 6'5", 225 running back is crazy. A 6'5", 225 receiver is crazy. Yeah, let's go ahead and take Savion. That's crazy. His stats are, we're going Savion. Yeah, and that's my draft. So just to kind of recap at the 5-5, we took Savion Williams, a 6'5", 225-pound utility player. So we ended the draft with Dylan Sampson, Emeka Ibuka, Travis Hunter, Alec Ayomanor, Bayshaw Tuden, Gunnar Helm, and Savion Williams. Pretty solid. I think that's really going to help my team. Once again, at quarterback, I got Tua, I got Bo Nix, I got Bryce Young. So that's a solid, quarterback room. At running back, I needed someone to complement Devon Achane. I got Marshawn Lloyd, Braylon Allen. Now we got Dylan Sampson. Keaton Mitchell. Hopefully, one of these guys can pop out by the end of end of next year, and hopefully in the second half we can get a run with one of these guys. Bashaw Tuden is another running back I added to my squad. I think he's going to be a great player who's really underrated this year. I think he could be a startable player in fantasy by next year. So I like that investment there. He'll probably go on my taxi. Emeka Egbuka's a day one starter, all class, all character, reliable guy. Reminds me of like Amon-Ra St. Brown a little bit. He's probably going to get you 8-9 catches a game. He's going to fill into the slot, so he's going to be matched up with outside linebackers often. He's going to be matched up with smaller DBs often. He comes from Ohio State, which is wide receiver U, right? 6'1", 205, probably going to be a first-round pick. He had over 1,000 yards last year and 10 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith came into the scene for Ohio State, who was a dog. He was incredible. He's probably going to be the 1-1 whenever he comes out in the next couple of years. But Emeka Egbuka still held his own. He returned after an injury in 2023 and doubled his numbers up. So happy for that. My X Factor pick in this draft was definitely Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is, if it works, my team's going to be dank. I'm going to have Travis Hunter, Garrett Wilson, and Emeka Egbuka at wide receiver. People shit on this draft class for the wide receivers, and I look at it differently. I think there's so many running backs this year that you could hypothetically go ahead and take you can go take a wide receiver early. So maybe you go take a Tet McMillan, you get an Emeka Egbuka, you get someone like, Matthew Golden or Travis Hunter. There's so many running backs that you can still go get a high upside running back by the second round, right? Devin Neal has some, he has some appeal to him. Dylan Sampson, I think after this year, we're going to look at him as like a first round value. Ali Gordon, he's another guy similar to Cam Scatteraboo that, if you believe in Cam Scatteraboo, you should believe in Ali Gordon. They're similar players, both played for sizable enough programs, both have size to them. Both are probably going to be goal line, 3rd and 2, 2nd and 3 type running backs, right? They're probably going to split a backfield with somebody. I like those picks. And if you're getting a wide receiver 1, which there are a few wide receiver 1s in this draft class, like if Travis works out, he's going to be a wide receiver 1. If Tet McMillan works out, he's going to be a wide receiver 1. Emeka, if he works out, he's going to be a low-end wide receiver 1, right? Somewhere within that Jackson Smith and Jigba, Amon-Ra, St. Brown type of class. So, Emeka won't get there immediately. He's going to be consistent, though. He's going to always provide you value, and he's going to progressively get better. So, year 3 is going to obviously look better than year 1, but I think he's going to be one of those players that every year his stats get better and better and better. And he just is always the guy with a solid floor. I like the strategy of taking a wide receiver first round and going running back in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. So just to recap, in the 2nd and 3rd rounds of this draft, we saw Devin Neal, Dylan Sampson, Ali Gordon, Bashaw Tuden, Cam Scatteraboo, Trevor Etienne. I like that. You can go stack up on a couple RB2s and you can have some depth. You can get guys who can be RB2s, RB3s for you. I do think the receiver position is not getting enough love. I want to say I like this receiver room maybe more than I did last year. I damn near want to say that. Like Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison. Actually, no, it's cap. I don't like this. No, never mind. Brian Thompson. Yeah, no, I was capping. It's a good receiver room, though. It's not bad. There's upside there. At tight end, you got a few different options. I like Tyler Warren. If my team didn't have as many holes, I would like to take him early. But with Tyler Warren, you kind of have to be in a position to compete right now. He is a blue chip player. And, it's always nice having a tight end you can rely on. But where he's going, he's going ahead of Travis Hunter. He's going ahead of Marcus Golden. He's going ahead of Quinshon Judkins. He's going around the same tiers like Travion and Emeka Egbuka. Man, that's tough. Talent-wise, I think Emeka's really talented. If we were going off of pure talent, the 1-1 would be Ashton Genty. The 1-2 would be Omarion Hampton. The 1-3 would be Tet McMillan. The 1-4 would be Emeka Egbuka. And the 1.5 would probably be Travis Hunter. 1.6 would probably be Matthew Golden. 1.7 would be, I'm going to go with Quinshawn. 1.8. See, like, Tyler Warren's probably like the 7th or 8th best player for fantasy purposes. He's gonna be a blue chip tight end, really good. He'll get his 5-6 catches per game for, 60 yards per game, 70 yards per game, and that's really good for a tight end, right? He's eventually going to grow to that space to where he could pop off for 100 in any game, right? But even so, a top 5, top 6 tight end, in my opinion, it doesn't come close to a top 10, top 12 wide receiver. Like, Gentry could be a top 10 running back. Hampton could be a top 10 running back. McMillan could be a top 12, top 15-ish wide receiver. Emeka Egbuka, I think, is going to be a top 12 wide receiver. Travion, if he stays healthy, he could be a top 12 running back, right? So when you get to that 1.6 and you start talking about Travis Hunter, if Travis Hunter hits, he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver. Top 12 wide receiver, right? We'll see what the snap share looks like. For Colston Loveland being available, and in my opinion, not being that far behind of Tyler Warren, yeah, man, I'd go ahead and probably skip on Tyler Warren first round and just take Colston round 2. You might be looking at a 10 to 15% dip off in points, but you're going to get, ideally, if you draft well, you're going to get a really, really, really good receiver or running back in the first rounds, and you'll still get a startable tight end that has some upside. Now, this draft is being done before the NFL draft this weekend, right? So my whole purpose of this video was to give y'all something to look at, give y'all some scope as to how I wanted to attack this rookie draft. My personal rookie draft for this league is going to be next week, Saturday, so we're about 10 or so days away from it. It'll be that first weekend of May. So please leave comments below on what you guys might have done differently, if you had any thoughts on any of my opinions. But yeah, man, Dylan Sampson, Bashaw Tootin, Emeka Egbuka, Travis Hunter, Gunnar Helm at tight end, Alec Ayomanor, and Savion Williams. I got 7 picks in this year's draft. I think I hit the nail on the head with my 1.5 and my 2.1 with Emeka and Travis Hunter. I think at the 2.6, getting Dylan Sampson is a value. At the 3.5, Alec, I think he's going to be consistent, a cool wide receiver who can go ahead and, be dynamic, break zones. Who does he remind me of? Like Golden Tate, kind of like I said earlier. One of those receivers that he's not going to put up eye-popping numbers, right? But he's going to do enough to get noticed. Alec Ayomanor is like a better version of Andre Yoshivas. And I like Andre Yoshivas as a prospect, right? Cool receiver. Unfortunately, he plays between Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who eat up a lot of reps or a lot of catches too. But I think Alec in the right system, he could be a nice wide receiver 3 for you. I think that's his upside. Maybe low end wide receiver 2 in his best years. Savion, I mean, we'll see what happens. They call him Cordero Patterson. He's 225, 6'5". He's big as fuck, whether he's a receiver or a running back. So his size alone is going to keep him in the NFL. And then it's just about what does he do with his opportunity. I think he will get an opportunity at some point. Like, you can't have a dude that big on the sideline and not give him chances. It's like Darnell Washington for the Steelers. Like, Darnell Washington is just the biggest tight end you've ever seen. And so the Steelers, they get him on the field, right? He may not be exceptionally great at catching passes or anything like that, but hey, he's big as fuck. Find a way to use him. And I think it's going to be the same case with Savion Williams. He's big as fuck. Find a way to use him. 225, man. He's a jump ball receiver. He could be a good red zone target. If he's doing running back, right, like he did the last half of last year in college, if he's getting running back reps, that's incredible. He might get some goal line touches potentially. He could be one of those utility players similar to like a Taysom Hill, similar to like a Cordero Patterson in his prime, to where there's value for a couple of years there. And if you're smart, if you're strategic, if you're able to, capitalize on someone's excitement, you might draft Savion Williams in the 5th round and end up being able to flip this guy for like a 3rd round pick, maybe even a 2nd round pick, depending on the type of year he has. It only takes 1 year within the next 2 to 3 to go ahead and fetch 1st or 2nd round value for a really good rookie. And that's something I think about as well. This is the last thing I'll say. When I'm drafting in my rookie drafts, yes, I'm drafting for upside. I'm drafting in most cases best available, right? Who do I think has the best available talent? Now, there is a world where my mind wanders to, and I'm thinking about moves I can make in the future. Like for a few years, I had a habit of taking quarterbacks in the 5th round, right? Every year in the 5th round, I'm taking the best available quarterback, right? In the 5th round in our draft the last few years, we have seen guys like Justin Herbert go in the 5th round. Last year, I got Bo Nix in the 5th round. So, I think a guy got like Puka Nacua in the 5th round, right? So that's the time where you just kind of, you pick a player who you think has the most upside and you put him in your taxi for a couple years and you hope that luck is in your favor and he gets the opportunity to showcase that upside. So in the 5th round, I take upside. I'm not looking for floor. I want ceiling. Last year, I hit it out the park with Bo Nix, 5th round pick. This year, Savion Williams, 5th round pick, not too bad. Yeah, man, I like this draft. So let me know what you guys think below. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to this episode. I might try to do one more episode before. I might do one episode either before the draft or after the draft. But I wanted to kind of just give you guys some frame of reference as to what I thought of players. I thought this video would be a really great way to showcase, who's going where. And yeah, I thought that'd be a really great opportunity to go ahead and, showcase you guys kind of what I think of guys compared to, where they're being taken. So hope you enjoyed it. My name's Ja. Till I see you again. Bye.